unless you know what the rhythm is. In traditional African cultures, and even here, if the beat is wrong, someone will stop and look at you. Because we have to realize first that music started off as a spiritual and or religious rite. Everything was pretty much a toast to the spirit, the ancestor, the God. Always a spiritual rite. So we had to make sure that the rhythm was correct and made sure that the energy that we conveyed was correct. Understand? Okay. So the first rule, listen. And they say when you hear something, something's attracted, you're attracted to it. So you do it again. You do it again till it catches on. Something simple. This isn't a drum. This is a stick on the floor. And as I'm doing this, I know through the various individuals in here, you're hearing something different. To your surprise, you may be thinking the same thing. What can I add to this? It's a simple rhythm. And you may catch on and try something else. Then the third person catches on and says, hey, that sounds cool. And those who have no intention of playing anything, they just move. Something like this may go on for hours because you have the drummers who picked up on the rhythm, people have different instruments, and it turns into a whole big fiesta, so to speak. And the dancers, they're moving and they're grooving to it, and it turns into a whole big fiesta festival. You understand? But it all comes from the understanding, the internal understanding, not more so thought. It's all feel. All right? And then the words come later. We'll deal with that later. I'm going to start you off with a little history besides that of the drum. These here, there's usually three. I don't have the third. But there's usually three of these. Collectively, in modern times, they're called congas. All three or four. Maybe even two. In actuality, this middle-sized drum is the one that's called the conga. C-O-N-G-A. Only the middle. The small one here is called the quinto. And the bigger one, which is not here, just imagine, is the tumba, which is usually about 12.5 or 13 inches around. Excuse me. This is usually about 11 to close to 12 around. Usually about 10 to maybe 11. In African tradition, they call the middle size or the lower size drum the daddy drum. This is usually one that keeps the tempo when there's more than one person playing. They call this the mother drum. The mommy drum because in tradition, it's the one that does the most of the talking. You hear these mostly in Caribbean music, salsa, merengue, from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, those particular countries. So when you have going, you'll have this drum. This here that I'm sitting on, well, first of all, let me finish with these. These congas originated in Puerto Rico, at least this style of drum, Puerto Rico. All right? This here drum is called a cajon, C-A-J-O-N. It is African in nature, I'll say, or in spirit, but it's actually South American born. When we had our great ancestors who were taken captive from Central West Africa, say Angola, Namibia, Gabon, they were brought over to Brazil. And in Brazil, I don't know if you have anyone seen the movie Quilombo? Quilombo? It's a good movie. It talks about the revolution and the slave captives who were there, the African captives who were there. Well, it didn't just stay in Brazil. We moved over to Venezuela. But those of us who have moved over to Peru, the west coast of South America, we weren't allowed to take our drums. So,